The United Kingdom is a sweeping love story.
It's unashamedly romantic.
Did I ever tell you I didn't just marry you for your good looks?
Pure and simple on one level, and very complicated on another.
Liar.
I have a new vision for our nation.
Real stories like this we very rarely ever get to see on screen.
It is time!
It's about a young man who's due to be chief of the largest tribe in Botswana.
It's a very powerful, true story.
Mr. Kama, I hear your tribe were rebelling against you bringing a white queen home, according to South Africa this morning.
Susan Williams' book, Calabar, was my primary source of information. All I did was look at the picture of Seretse and Ruth on that cover and just knew I had to know more, I had to experience these people, and just knew that we had to make this film.
For me, one of the things that hit me was the fact that it was a story of African independence, and that fascinated me because I'm the child of African parents who were raised in a colony and saw it become independent.
If you choose to marry the leader of an African nation, you will be responsible for the downfall of the British Empire in Africa.
Mohumahatsana wa Kent wa dumedisa ka mafoko a ga tautona ka sebele ke moeng yo tlotlegang.
It's very important to archive our history through visual media because we live in a world of visual media. Right now I can write a book. Sometimes the joke is the best way to hide something is to put it in a book. Now, of course, some people will read, but in an environment, if you really want to have people appreciate history, relate to it, movies, television traditionally, but now we're in the social media, the internet world, where almost everything is visual media.
Ever since cinema existed, even before the audio was attached to cinema, in the so-called silent era, historical content was a major part of the offerings in the cinema world. And ever since, in the last 100 years, countless films using history as the subtext or as the background or the focus of biopics, as we call them, have been immensely important in creating information and interest in the past.
But we don't have solid films, historical films that can talk about the story of Botswana. Mainly because we don't have, we have not had a film industry in Botswana until maybe 2000, and when we had now ability to produce content.
It's important to tell biopics and many historical films, because that is the food for the nation.
Film industry in Botswana, is still at infancy stage. Therefore, we don't have any film that either promote Botswana or talk about the Botswana story.
History is the future. We have kids who do not really know where we come from, who do not really know who we are as a nation. These were our ideals back then, and this is how we've transitioned from then to now. We're trying to preserve something that is slowly but surely fading, I think we're going into a point where at some point our kids would not know our history.
And many of us, a whole generation of us, were inspired by Sir Seretse Khama's 1970 address to what was then the University of Swaziland and Botswana, where he said that a nation without a past is a lost nation. People without a past are a people without a soul. I mean, that was a clarion call for us to get our history, revive it, put it in the context of the post-colonial environment, relate it to the rest of Southern Africa.
Democracy
Soy abato kabat. Development. Ditiro tarita bolol. Self-reliance. We pelejo. Unity. Papahana as the child.